You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years. Well, good afternoon, Trevor. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Good. So today we're going to talk about beagles a little bit. We just came back from the World Championship in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, and man, what a great weekend it was.
Yeah, I've seen you've been pretty optimistic. Everything I've seen online, the coverage was good. Some of the videos and pictures out in the field, it looked like everything turned out really well this weekend.
Oh, it did. You know, the best part, two of the good things about it this year was the weather couldn't have been better, and the game and the hunting was just superb. I can't think of a world championship that was better in that regard as far as weather and running game was. Those folks out there had their places groomed and put in a lot of effort, and it really showed. And you know what? The hunters appreciated it, and everything just made for a grand event. And it just goes to show that game is still good game, and good places to hunt is still at the top of the list for a successful event.
Yeah,
it just is.
You talked about that a little bit earlier. We were upstairs talking, and you can do everything right to have all the procedures in place. Everything can go smooth with the dinners and just good camaraderie and everything. But if the game isn't moving, you don't have good weather, it can ruin a really good event in a hurry. So that sounds like it was just a perfect blend for you this weekend.
Yeah, you know, we saw some footage of the places they were grooming on our Beagles Afield page. You know, some pictures. Actually, Randy Workman, one of the local guys there, he works for this guy who has a helicopter. And he actually got up in the helicopter and took some video footage of the places that he was getting ready for the hunters. And man, that looked so awesome. Matter of fact, all weekend he was trying to get me to approve for Megan and Grace to go on a helicopter ride with him. I really didn't know what to say about that, you know. But
yeah,
I asked I asked if he was driving or not, and he said, "Well, no, it wasn't going to be him." But yeah, that was kind of.
I'm glad I wasn't there and had to deal with that. That would have been a no-go for me.
Yeah, but no. So the weather it couldn't have been better. It sprinkled a little bit, and the timing of that was right. It was on Friday when we had the bench show, like between 1 and 3 o'clock. Other than that, the conditions were just so good. You know, temperatures in the mid 50s, and that is just so perfect to run dogs.
Yeah, perfect.
Sure was. So yeah. You know, I talked to a lot of folks out there, and there's a lot of people to thank. There's always a lot of people behind the scenes, and on this podcast, we're going to hear from some of those folks that were there, some of the contestants. I talked to some of the guys from the NHBA, you know, the president, Alan Newby, and others as well. So I think this is going to be another interesting podcast really to listen to. But I do want to, a couple things I do want to cover before we get into some of that, some notables from this year. A total of 78 casts is what we hunted all weekend long. 57 in round 1, 16 in round 2, 4 in round 3, and then the final cast. So for a total of 78 casts, one cast.
Wow.
That did not have plus points.
Wow. Couldn't ask for any better than that.
That's phenomenal.
Anytime you put all the effort into, you know, getting your dogs ready, qualifying your dog, making the trip all the way to Pennsylvania, and then knowing that you have that kind of odds to get out there and get after your game, the rabbits in this case, that's always encouraging.
Yeah,
they have to be tickled with that.
Oh, it was. And we, you know, some folks drove a good little piece. We had, I don't know how many entries but we had guys from Missouri there, and a good number of entries. You know, probably, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 entries came from out west in Missouri. And it was good to see all those guys make the trip. And I think they had a good time. Mike Higbee probably he probably went as far as any. He had 2 dogs in round 2. And he had to find a handler for one of them, you know, but he did very well there. And it was good to see those guys do well. That some guys from New York that were down there, quite a few of them, you know, and it's always good to see them, and from everywhere, you know. So the Thursday night, we had a dinner up there. That's a good way to kick off an event. And there was a lot of folks there for it on Thursday, but Dr. Oz, he's I didn't realize it, but he's kind of a local there in Pennsylvania, there where we were in Waynesburg, and he's running for U.S. Senate. So he actually had met with the Beagle Club guys talking about some dog law stuff here recently, and he got wind that we were having the World Championship there. And he actually came out and watched them run some dogs, I guess.
Yeah.
So he offered he wanted to help out a little bit, so he paid for the Thursday dinner.
Wow.
So yeah,
Ain't
Dr.
that
House,
something?
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's kind of interesting is I know you were posting some pictures and videos there on Thursday of the dinner and just the crowd that was there, monster crowd. And it just kind of seems to be a trend this year that even with some of the inflation stuff and the gas prices, that we're seeing big crowds at our major events. And I think that's kind of a testament to people are ready to get out and enjoy the sport. And I think it's good, some of the stuff that we're doing to bring people out. So you guys did a good job there with the dinner and all the stuff that you do to draw people in, get them there earlier, and enjoy yourself while you're there at the World Championship. It's a great accomplishment to be there, get there early, enjoy yourself, talk to people, meet new people, and then you get to compete.
Yeah, I asked Friday morning. I had them raise their hands for all first timers to raise their hands, and you'd be surprised how many first timers are there. Really, see a lot of folks that are there year after year, but also a bunch of first timers. So that's always good. But yeah, that thing dinner on Thursday night is just a great way to kick off an event.
Oh, yeah.
Really sets the tone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they had some youth kids come in and do the dinners each day from the local career center right there in town. So they had a buffet style dinner on Thursday, and then they also provided the food on throughout the weekend. So in the morning they had like a breakfast buffet and they had lunch buffets. One day they had like foot-long hoagies, I think it was, so they went all out. So
Yeah.
it was all really good.
Hey, it's always good to see the local community step up and just be proud to have an event there like that and take pride in it.
Yeah, the county commissioner was out there on Thursday, Betsy McClure, and she came out there again Friday and was there Saturday and Sunday again when the winners came back. Just tickled to have us in town. So you could really tell the locals were glad to see the Beaglers there in town. So that's always good. But yeah, so I do want to also take this opportunity to thank some of our sponsors again, which is obviously UKC, our performance dog nutrition partner, Dogtra, our official GPS collar of United Kennel Club, Mule Hunting Brand, Okie Dog Supply, Nightlight Company, and then obviously also UKC provided some of the awards. Another local sponsor that wanted to provide something was G&H Sporting Goods. That's Brady Gaines there in Waynesburg. He has a sporting goods store there and also owns Brady's Roadhouse. So obviously he wanted to try to get some of the Beaglers down there, and they did go to his steakhouse and they loved it. But he gave the winner a 12 gauge shotgun. So we want to thank Brady Gaines for his support of the event as well.
It's kind of cliche, but I think houndsmen are always a good group about supporting those people that support us, and it shows it right there.
Yeah, they do. So, and then our judges, all the guides, obviously, the host club, the Waynesburg Beagle Club, Jay Johnson, Curtis Johnson is his name, but everybody calls him Jay. I got to meet him there, and what a good guy. The whole group was, and got to meet them for the first time. Had never met them. We mostly worked with Randy Moore, who had a big part in this, but just some of the other guys, like I said, Jay Johnson, Olin Stone King, Jim Galentine, then obviously Randy Moore. And then they had Josh Ware as their guide coordinator that we worked with and our event officials worked with. Josh just did a fantastic job coordinating all the guides each day. So, yeah, we appreciate all the guides that helped out for this event to make it what it was. And then also our staff, Megan Hartmus, Grace Hess, and then also Kristen Bundy is a Beagler from North Carolina. She's involved with the NHBA, and she's helped us last spring. She helped us at the Nationals, taking entries and things like that, and she helped again here, and just a great help. It's good to have folks like her to help us out, and just in taking entries, we didn't have one single error in the entry process again.
Yeah.
Between her and Alan Newby taking entries. And our field reps, Alan Newby from Virginia, Jeff Davis from Indiana, Brian Mudgett in Missouri, and then Eric Gant in Michigan, where they helped us out as far as the field rep. We also had a good number of youth there this year. I think 8 or 10 of them that handled dogs in the World Hunt. And there was, I think, 4 of them from Indiana that came up. And at the end, it was Izzy Knote from Indiana who handled a dog named Brute. She was made it all the way to the semifinals in the top 16 there, and with Brute, and so she was our top youth handler.
Hey, that's interesting. I think I listened to a podcast with you and Roy and Brock not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, where you mentioned Izzy, and here she is popping up again.
Yeah.
She's you guys called that one, I guess.
Yeah. I know Brock was there too, and he unfortunately didn't win his cast, but he was one of the youth that was there too. Yeah. His dad did. Nate did win a cast, but yeah, there was Brock and, like I said, about 10 youth kids that were there, and but yeah, Izzy was our youth winner this year, and she was so excited, and good for her.
Yeah. That's a big accomplishment. One thing I'll say about the youth in all of our segments is just how respectful they are, and just good sportsmen, and it's good to see them flourishing in these major events where it's not tough to get out there and get a win. Yeah. A lot of people try to get wins there, and to have any luck there is a big deal.
Yeah, you see, speaking of youth, and Izzy here is obviously a girl handler making it to the top 16. And you see it in the coonhound side too, in the finals, where you'll have several women handlers. We had it this year again. I think we had 3, and we had 3 this last weekend. 3 women handlers: April Beam from Pennsylvania, and Izzy obviously, and then Vicky Bassett. All were in the top 16.
Wow.
So yeah, that's just got to be an aspiration for other women handlers and that love the sport, and youth as well. So yeah. Some of our judges that we had Saturday, I cannot remember a world championship where we had as many people stick around. And that's oftentimes, we don't start using non-hunting judges here until Saturday afternoon in the evening round. And sometimes it's a struggle to get enough good quality. This year, that was not a problem at all. So I do want to just give a special shout out to some of the guys that did stick around to help judge, and there were a few others that would have if we needed them. But Jared Waybright, Braden Neely, Derek Bowen, Tim Bowen, Josh Ware, Jake Cumberledge, Trevor McQueen, and Kristen Bundy all helped judge on Saturday, and then on Sunday in the final cast there we had Eric Yant and Trevor McQueen to judge, and then Jacob Coons. Jacob.
I know Jacob. Yeah, he's had a good year.
Yeah,
it's crazy. He does well in the coonhounds and the beagle side. The guy must hunt all the time.
Well, he won the world championship last year, and Brandon, his partner, Brandon Auflick, he placed. He was in the final 4 last year too. But both Jacob and Brandon they had dogs there in the top 16 as well this year. So
hard hunters.
Another good year for them. So, another big part of the World Championship is the bench show. We have that on Fridays there between rounds 1A and 1B on Friday. And we had 30-some dogs entered in the show this year.
Yeah, I'm curious on the outside looking in, how do you qualify for it or even compete in it?
It's a little different than what you're used to on the coonhound side. Here, we don't have to qualify for it. Now, the dog has to, it used to be where the dog had to enter a WQE, a world qualifying event, and not be scratched for not hunting. That would fulfill the requirements to enter the show. But we've changed that to this year. If they were qualified for the world hunt, they were good to go. And that was all that was needed if they qualified for it. So if they were entered there for the hunt, they were eligible for the show. Okay. If they weren't eligible or if they weren't in the hunt, they had to have at least 2 cast wins to be eligible for the show. So it's a little different.
Yeah, that's still neat though.
Yeah, so any dog that's in the show here, they're also hunting dogs. That's the Hunting Beagle. So, so our show this year, there are big winners. Big winners were. The opposite sex was a female owned by Josh Byers out of Missouri, who's kind of a newcomer, actually. But he's just gung-ho, Josh is. He has this dog named Merle. So I don't know if you follow much on Beagles Afield, but Merle's becoming kind of a little icon in the Beagle world. But anyways, he had this female named Aria, who was our opposite or opposite sex winner. And then the overall big trophy and everything this year went to Burke's Little Bit of Mayhem. Angie Vandergrift from Shinston, West Virginia, won the show.
Wow, very nice.
So this Mayhem dog is a dog, he's won our nationals before, and he was the opposite sex winner last year in the World Show, and got beat by his littermate sister.
Oh, there you go. I was thinking the Burke's name sounded familiar. Right?
Well, that's Oddie Burke. That
Yep.
comes from Oddie Burke, who is a coonhound guy, showed coonhounds and beagles both. But Mayhem's Dam was the diamond female that Oddie owned, who won the world either twice, I think. No, one time, won the nationals twice, maybe. But just a winning dog, and just this Mayhem dog is just another beautiful dog. It's a Hunting Beagle champion as well.
Yeah. Hey, looking at the photos from the event and the coverage on the Beagles of Field page, beautiful dog.
Yeah, and
Well deserving.
he's just won everything in the Beagle shows, and now topped it off here with the world win. Came so close a couple times already, but got it done this year. So Angie was super excited,
Sure.
and you're going to hear from Angie here in this podcast as well. Our final cast this year, it was a good final cast. We had a 7-year-old dog, and oftentimes we talk about some of the older veteran dogs kind of tend to make it through all the rounds, and had so it wasn't a surprise to have Fret, Stacy's Mountain Outlaw Freck. He was a 7-year-old male owned by Jeff Stacy, who, by the way, couldn't be there. Jeff is one of our field reps, Beagle field reps. And he's been battling some health issues right now. But this dog is co-owned with his wife, Debbie. And he had Alan Newby handling this dog for him, who's also a field rep for us. But he made it to the final cast, and he had a lot of supporters there rooting for Freck out there. Another dog was Dave Hummel and Vernon Shearer, call him Mugsy. Vernon, we call him Mugsy. You'll hear from both David and Mugsy on this podcast, but Mugsy doesn't say a whole lot, but he's kind of one of the old timers, and he teamed up with David Hummel on this old Dirty South Ace dog, who's a 3-year-old that they just acquired earlier this year, and have already won quite a bit with him this year, and have had a good year, and kind of topped it off here in the finals. So Ace was in the final cast with Hummel. And then the Tika dog, Heat 'em Up Tika, who was the eventual winner, with showing Josh Ware and Mitch Gould as the owners here. And Aubrey Gould, Mitch's daughter Aubrey, who I'm not sure how old she is. I'm going to guess she's probably 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that. She showed Tika in the show on Saturday or on Friday, and won best male or best female of show with her. Nice looking little dog.
Very nice.
Yeah. Again, another 3-year-old. And then the fourth dog in the cast was owned by Blake Barkman from Indiana, Heat 'em Up Foxy Roxy, who he bought here in the last year from Tim and Derek Bowen in West Virginia. And she won first place registered at Nationals, Hunting Beagle Nationals this year. So had a good cast in the finals, and as it were, Tika ended up winning the hunt. It was a little frosty in the morning, but a nice morning Sunday, and they struggled a little bit there to begin with, and eventually the frost kind of wore off, and they had a pretty good little hunt, and Tika ended up coming out on top.
Yeah, I enjoyed some of the pictures and videos you posted there of the final cast. We just got done looking at them a little bit ago for a second time, showing some other people in the office of what you called Spectator Hill out there on the final cast. That was pretty neat, seeing all the spectators standing out there getting to enjoy the show.
Yeah, that was it's a little bit different in the Beagle events. Oftentimes on Sunday, a lot of them will stick around to go watch that final cast, and this year they had the spot that they had just a nice knob. It's rolling there in Waynesburg, and they had a nice knob or a hill there where all the spectators could stand and kind of watch and listen. Just a great spot. And 19 trucks I counted going out there this year.
Wow.
Going out to watch the final cast.
Hey, Well, hey, it looks like it was an interesting final cast. A lot of names that I'm familiar with, and obviously some dogs that have done some winning this year and in the past few years. So should be interesting to hear from some of these different guys you got interviews from. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, just quickly. So this year our top 10 is how we place the world hunt placements. So in 10th place was a dog out of New York, Roscoe's Tank, Landon Carroll. In 9th place was Hurry Up Fidget, Vicky Bassett in Ohio. 8th place was Drew's Creek, Lady Lula, Adam Banks, and Colton Trump out of West Virginia. 7th place was another New York dog, Miller's All Day Jasper, Carl Miller, who actually had 2 dogs in the top 16. But Jasper is one that ended up placing. 6th place was D'Agostino's Cold Winter Breeze, Owen D'Agostine. You might, that name is kind of familiar. D'Agostine Sir Mongo won the World Championship here a couple of years ago, and Breeze is off of Mongo. Last year's winner, Jacob Coons, Brandon Offlick, had runner again last year, won the world with him. This year they had Clean 'em Up Clyde, who ended up placing 5th. And then we mentioned 4th place was the Freck dog of Jeff Stacy and Debbie Stacy that Alan Newby handled. And then Old Dirty South ace, Dave Hummel and Mugsy, they placed 3rd. And then the runner-up this year was Blake Barkman from Indiana with Heat 'em Up Foxy Roxy. And then obviously our world champion, Heat 'em Up Tika, with Mitch Gould handling the dog. But it was a good world hunt.
Congratulations to all the winners, and congratulations just for being there.
Yeah, so we had a lot of hunters this year suggest that, man, they just loved it. Why not just go back to Waynesburg? So we're looking at everything, and we'll see where we go next year. But it's not off the table. We're certainly going to consider possibly going right back there, but we'll see. This podcast is brought to you by the all-new Dogtra Pathfinder 2. Dogtra, the official GPS collar partner of UKC. The NHBA is a big part of the Hunting Beagle program. They are the chartered Beagle Association for the program and do a whole lot for our sport. This at the World Championship, I had an opportunity to sit down with Alan Newby, the president of the NHBA, and you're going to hear from him first. You're also going to hear from Alan a little bit later on as he handled a dog in the Final Four. Here's Alan. Hey, Alan, how are you doing this afternoon?
Good, Alan. Good.
I'm here with Alan Newby, president of the NHBA. We're here in Waynesburg on Saturday at the World Hunt, Saturday afternoon. Let's talk about the NHBA a little bit. You have some good programs and a lot of good things happening with the NHBA. Talk about some of the programs that you have right now.
Yes, we're the breed association to the Hound and Hunter format with UKC. We've had a scholarship for our kids. We have the top 8 prizes for the top 8 hounds of the year. Pretty much everything we do, we give back to the hunters. We currently a little over 250 members, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty good little following. We try and give back to as much as we can to the kids. Like at the World Hunt here, we have probably almost 5-foot trophy.
Yeah.
We give them $100 cash. And this year we had money donated, and we had a young lady win it this year.
Izzy Knote won it this year at the World Hunt.
And then they traveled together, and I think the little
Eli Watson.
He was the boy. We tried to give to the boy and the young lady, but
you give one of it to the overall winner, then if it's the opposite of that,
pretty good little program, but
so you have that, and you can really tell the kids love the programs that you have, and you can tell we just have a bunch of kids getting into the stuff or into our sport, and that's just really good. How does the Dog of the Year program work? I know you have sectionals, so sectionals is where they can earn their NHBA points, right?
Yes, they earn their NHBA points with their cast wins. The sectionals are usually 1 point per cast. The super sectionals are double point cast wins. So all of your super sectionals, you have the potential to pick up a lot of points on a weekend. I think we're currently right now we've got like 15 dogs really fighting it out for the top 8 spots. We pay out the top 8. When I say pay out, we have 8 places. We have a pretty good prize package, is ranging anywhere from a Garmin tracking system to dog food and coats and so forth, different things, blankets with their pictures on them. But it's heating up to be a pretty good race this year.
Yeah, in the last several years, if your prize packages that you have are as good as it gets anywhere, really.
Most of the time, we're anywhere probably between 15 and 20,000, I think, in it, tied up all together.
Wow, and that's a lot of money to come up with. But I know you do a lot of raffles throughout the year.
Yes.
So yeah, raffles are a big thing for the NHBA. What are some? You've been very successful with raffling and some big ticket items. What are some of those items?
We try and do one big raffle a year where we sell $100 ticket and pay out 10 spots. So you have 10 chances to win. And we try and make the 10th place prize pretty nice. So this year we started out with a $2,500 top prize, and our 10th place prize was $500. So
yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and it seems to go pretty good. We have people on the board and on the officers. We're scattered anywhere from Virginia to Carolina to Indiana, so it's kind of a broad range of where they're sold. And we have sponsors now that donate the Ging foil, the Doctor Systems, Diamond Deluxe Dog Box. We give Dan's bibs and boots away, and we really couldn't do it without these sponsors. And we do pretty good. It's several other things. I know I'm forgetting some, but and at each of the big hunts, we also try and do raffles to where we're giving like some of the tracking systems away, the Ging 4s, just something to raise money and keep money coming in, because everything we have come in, we turn right back around and give it to the hunters, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and you do have a good membership and a good support from a lot of the hunters.
Yes,
the other thing the NHBA has done really well is spreading reps out across the country.
Yeah,
and represented everywhere.
Yes, we're like I said, we're all the way up to New York, to Indiana, to
out west,
Missouri, as far as South Carolina, West Virginia, Ohio,
North Carolina.
Virginia.
Yeah.
We're spread out pretty good. So
what is it? What is a membership cost to join the NHBA?
It's $25 for the year, or if you want to become a gold member, it's $50. But it's a one-time fee of $50, and your regular membership a year will go back to $25. But what the gold membership does, it gives you the right to vote on the Hall of Fame dog, the Hall of Fame active member, and the breeders.
Yeah.
And there again, that's something we want to give back to the guys that participate and do so much for the sport, and the breeders, and to recognize everybody.
Yeah, and those are awards that you give out at the World Hunt every year.
Yes, we actually gave them out Thursday night up here, so that was good. But and then our kids, we do so much for our kids. Purina's been a big help to us as far as sponsoring the kids. They completely sponsor everything for the kids, as far as the coats, and they do it all for those. And that's what it's all about, is the kids, because without the kids, our sports goes nowhere.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so we really appreciate everything the NHBA does for just that affiliation with UKC with us, man. It's a good partnership for sure. Let's segue into the hunt a little bit. Yeah, you hunted a couple dogs up here this weekend, and we're here on Friday afternoon at Waynesburg, and you still got a dog in, but it's not one of your own. Tell us a little bit about the dog you're hunting here.
The dog is Stacy's Mountain Outlaw Freck. He belongs to Debbie and Jeff Stacy out of Thomasville, North Carolina. When I started years ago, Jeff was one of the first guys that I ever met, and we instantly become friends, and we've become really close over the years. And this is one of Jeff's dogs. He's 7 years old. Freck he's really a nice hound. I think he was maybe the third or fourth dog in the UKC Hall of Fame to make it.
He was about the fourth dog, I think.
Fourth dog in, but he has a little mate. Was the first one?
He was Flame,
yeah, which
was
belonged
the
to
first.
Christian Bundy. But he's a really nice hound. He does nothing wrong, and he does what he's supposed to when he needs to get in there and grub and find that rabbit. He does, and he's been a good dog to handle all weekend.
Yeah, Jeff couldn't be here this weekend. He's got some health issues he's dealing with, and I'm sure he's pretty tickled. Have you been talking with him today?
I've talked to him after every round. I let him know where we go. And after the last round, he told me, he said, I'm packing the truck. And I'm like, no, not yet, buddy.
He needs to stay home and take care of Jeff.
Yes. But I tell you, if I luck up and we get through the next round and we get in the top 4,
probably not going to hold him down.
Oh, you're not going to hold him back. He's going to be on his way up here. He's
wearing his shades and everything.
Yep, with the shades. And that was one thing. All the pictures this weekend, I had to wear the sunglasses.
Yeah, I saw
Jeff said
that.
You got to keep that outlaw look going, Newby. So I said, yes, sir. Whatever you say. But I tell you, a lot of guys stepped up when Jeff was sick. Corey Jarrett and him, Scott McDougal out of Missouri.
Yeah, Scott handled several of his dogs this weekend.
We've handled like 5 of his dogs since he couldn't be here.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about UKC and the people we run with. People don't understand. It's a family. It's not just a sport. It's a family.
It is, and you mentioned it is the people.
It's all about the people.
Yep.
And
coming to, just like in this situation, coming to Jeff's aid and helping him get his dogs to the world hunt, stepping up. Mentioned somebody from Missouri handling dogs from him, and he's in North Carolina.
Yeah, he drove all the way to Ohio 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago to pick up the dogs to bring to the hunt for Jeff, and that's the type of people that you're so proud to be a part of, and because any person out here would do the same for any other hunter, and that's I'm proud to be a part of.
Yep, and Jeff would do the same thing, and
Absolutely.
has done so much for a lot of other folks. So
I guess you could say they one of the first families of it. They've been in it since he was at the first world.
Yep.
Yes, Jeff is they're good people.
Yeah. So, well, hey, I won't hold you up any longer here, but appreciate you stopping by here.
Thank you and UKC for all you'll do with us and everything you do for us. And we thank you.
Thanks to you and the NHBA for everything as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our big winner in the show this year was Little Bit of Mayhem, that was owned by Angie Vandergrift of Shinston, West Virginia. I had a chance to sit down with Angie and talk about her big win. Here's Angie. Well, here we are Friday afternoon at Waynesburg, and I'm here with Angie Vandergrift, and it was a special day for you, was it not?
It sure was. Been waiting a long time for this to come, trying to get Mayhem a win at the World, right? I think this was my third time around. I started with him as a puppy in the first go-around, and he lost to his sister in the second go-around. So
that was last year, was it not?
It was. He showed up unexpectedly. You know how that goes. You never know what you're going to get. And, you don't mind being beat by a good dog.
Yeah, so let's back up and tell us about Mayhem and how you came about getting him and all that.
Yeah, so it's kind of an ironic story. When Audie Burke made the breed and the cross, he called me and said, hey, I would really like to get a pup in your hands. And at the time, Devin was into so many sports, and I had to back out of hunting and showing a little bit because of it, and we were traveling all the time. So, I told him I just couldn't put the time into a pup and to a dog at that point in my life. So he kept hounding me and calling, and I kept telling him no and that I couldn't do it. So Jason went to a hunt. It was somewhere up in Ohio. I can't even remember now. And he was getting ready to leave, and Audie said, hey, before you leave, come and see me. And Jason was like, okay, I'll be right there. And he went up to see Audie before he left, and Audie got the dog Mayhem out of the box and started walking back to Jason's truck with him. And he said, Audie, that's a nice dog. And he said, yeah. He said, you take this pup to Angie. He said, his health was deteriorating a little bit and he couldn't run as much and handle. And he said, you take this dog to Angie. This is the pup I wanted her to have to begin with.
And at this point, you had not even seen the pup yet?
I had no clue any of this was going down. And as a matter of fact, Jason called me and said, hey, I stopped along the way and picked you up something. I got a surprise on my way home. I'm like wondering to myself, what is this? What's he bringing? So he pulls into the driveway and I'm like, he's unloading the dogs like he always did. And all of a sudden this dog comes out of the truck and I said, holy moly, where did you find that?
Yeah, that's quite a story. So what is he out of, sire and dam?
So he's out of Magic Mike, and he is out of Diamond that Audie won the world with a couple times.
Yeah, so Diamond won the Nationals, at least twice, did she not?
Yeah, she won the Nationals twice, and believe she won the world once. I'm not sure if it was twice, but I think at least once.
Yeah, at least once out in Missouri. I know she won the world show out there, but just a super nice dog and kind of one of those where I know when Audie would show up with that dog, other guys that had dogs in the same category kind of hanging their head, but she was that kind of dog, and it seems like we see a little bit of that with Mayhem.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely has Diamond's disposition. He's just a sweetheart and likes to cuddle, I like that pretty well. And he hunts. I mean, he made champion by the time, a hunting beagle champion by the time he was 10 months old. So, at the Vandergrift house, you can't have a dog in the kennel unless it hunts. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, that's just a nice thing about him too. And I can see that. But, so let's talk a little bit. You won the Nationals with him before, so that was a big win for you. What are some of the other wins that you've had with him?
Yeah, so probably the hunts that mean the most to me would be the World, of course. I mean, it's just an honor. The Nationals would be next in line with that. Near and dear to my heart's the Dale Prenny Classic. Won it a couple years in a row. We've won up at the McVeighs, and we also won at the Eliminator in the West Virginia State.
NHBA as well, right?
Yeah, correct. NHBA. I've been very lucky with him. He's just an all around good conformation dog, and he gives everything he has, both on the bench and out in the field.
So what do you do to prep for a hunt or for a show like the Nationals or for like the World Show this weekend?
Tell Vandergrift not to get his tail all messed up before the the show comes. No, he ran him pretty hard this year, probably hard 3 weeks before the World, and so definitely have to get him muscled up and ready to go. But I definitely groom about a week before the show, but it takes a lot of time. We bench a lot at home. I mean, I finally brought the bench in the house. It's got a permanent residence now, but hours upon hours of stacking and just making him stand there and build those muscles up, and rewarding him too. I mean, we would bench, and then Jason would take him out and run him in the field, and that's what he loves. He's my dog until Jason gets the collars out, and then forget it. I'm done. Yeah, he doesn't love me anymore.
Yeah, so you have come so close several times, and coming up here this weekend, what were your thoughts? Did you think maybe this is finally the year for you?
I was certainly hoping, but you never know. And, like I said, last year I didn't expect his sister to show up and look as good as she did. I mean, she's a fantastic dog. And you never know what you're going to see at these big hunts or what the competition's going to be like. I I was nervous, and I get nervous before every big show. He's a good, solid conformation dog, and he'll do everything that he can for me, but it's never guaranteed, and um, never take it for granted. And you just don't know. You just don't know. But this weekend is bittersweet for me because I'm one that I won't keep showing him after he's won these big hunts. So he probably won't show again, and that was tough for me this weekend. But it's very special.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next question, but you kind of answered that. What's next for him? But let's back up just a little bit this afternoon. So he was in the grand class. He won that class of males. And then the next class, he goes up against the registered best male of show and the champion male. And then ultimately, it comes down to him and one female showing. But just walk us through that last class. What were your feelings from the gating through the whole benching procedure till the judge selected him for the overall win?
Yeah, so nerves, I think, are the biggest feeling I probably had. And knowing I was on that final bench load and knowing the confirmation that he has, you're always hopeful. You don't want to get too confident, right? Knowing what he is and how he stacks on the bench, I thought to myself, I'm going to win this show, and I got to keep it together, right? Because it is bittersweet. And so I was emotional, and he showed like he hasn't shown before. He just was beautiful up there on the bench, and I at the end thought, I have this in the bag. He's showing like he's never shown before.
Went out and earned it. So yeah, well, you finally done it, Angie. World champion. You have a world champion, and congratulations. And what a day for you. So any final thoughts?
You know, I absolutely love the show. I used to hunt. I'm, getting older and don't like to do it as much anymore, but I absolutely love the show. And what warms my heart the most is when I see these kids get up here and show. And, I got to give a shout out to my Aubrey girl who did pretty well on the bench load this year. And she is, you watch these kids come up and grow up in this stuff, and watch the excitement on their faces, and that's why we do it.
Yeah, and they watch this and they have aspirations as well, so it's obviously attainable. Do your homework and with a nice dog like you did today. But congratulations again to you and Mayhem, world champions this year. So congratulations, and thank you for stopping in here.
Thanks, Alan. I appreciate it. Thanks for giving me the time.
Roderick Mosley is one of our Beaglers from Missouri, and we see him at a lot of our major events, and especially here in the last couple of years. He had 2 dogs in the World Championship. He brought a male and a female, Joe Cool and Dottie. Unfortunately for him, Dottie came in heat, and he didn't even get a chance to handle her at the World Hunt. But I got a chance to sit down with Roderick. Roderick, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing well. So you ran this morning, and how did your hunt go this morning in round 1?
I went fairly well. It's pretty tough. Good running, but we couldn't score any lines, but it went pretty good.
What dog were you hunting?
I was hunting straight balling new school Joe Cool.
I got you. I remember that. You see that name quite a bit, actually. But let's back up a little bit. You are kind of a military man. You did how many years did you serve?
26 years, U.S. Army.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service. And where were you in active duty?
Yes.
And where was that?
Oh, I had a lot of different duty stations: Hawaii, Texas, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri is where I retired and where I live now.
Perfect. So yeah, we talked about your hunt a little bit, or you mentioned it this morning, and then you had a second dog that you brought, and this afternoon, while everybody else is out, you're kind of sitting this one out, and why is that?
Well, unfortunately, my female Dottie came in heat. I pulled out the truck there yesterday, and the situation was all bad.
Man, it doesn't always just happen that way. It's like that the big hunts is these females. Why does it always happen like that? And drive halfway across the country to the world hunt, nonetheless.
Yeah, it kind of happens that way sometimes. I thought I was good, but I must have miscalculated by a few days.
Yeah, so tell me, how did you get into this sport, or when did you start running beagles?
Been hunting rabbits most of my life. I had done it all the way until I joined the Army when I was about 19 years old, and I wanted to get back into it. So after I retired, I decided to get myself a couple dogs.
Yeah, so one of the first ones that I remember when I first met you was maybe NHBA days or something out in Missouri. One of those was the first time I met you out there. But one of your dogs, one of your male dogs, he's probably older. He's kind of retired now. Doggone, you have to tell me what his name is. I forget his name off the top of my head.
His name is Missouri Primetime Tebow, Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Missouri Primetime Tebow.
Tebow. I don't know why he slipped my mind, but and I've told you this story before. He was my first trip out there. He was in the winner's pack as a registered dog, just a young hound at that time, and they had assigned me to judge that cast. And man, that dog looked impressive there. But that was when those other boys still owned him. Levi, was it Levi Ward and some of them?
Yeah, Levi Medeiros and and Adam Ward, I believe.
Adam Ward, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or it is Adam and another Ward. It was somebody like that. But yeah, anyways, we don't. They used to run quite a bit, but back in those days. But that was a nice dog. But how's he doing? He's getting pretty old now.
He's doing pretty good. He's 10 years old now. He's in great shape. Can't wait for rabbit season. He just doesn't. I don't want to run him all 2 or 3 times in a hunt. He goes out one time. He's good. He's enjoying living a good life and making puppies.
Yeah. Are you doing a lot of trialing these days, or are you doing more just pleasure hunting?
More trialing these days. I'm trying to get around a little bit, but life has been kind of busy. But I'm trying to get out there a little bit more.
Yeah, well, the weekend couldn't have been any better. The weather here in Waynesburg this weekend is just kind of unfortunate. You don't get a second crack with a second dog this afternoon. But what are your thoughts on the world hunt over here and what they have out here so far?
It's been fantastic. I've had a great time. Even after, I lost this morning, I decided to stay and enjoy myself. And I went out on the second cast with a friend of mine, Carl Miller, and watched his dog, Jasper. It was really, really good. Going pretty good for Jasper and Carl when I left. So.
Oh, yeah. He already won his cast, I think, this morning, too. So it looks like he might be in for a second one.
Yeah, he beat me this morning. And now he's in control there with Jasper this afternoon. Goes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I appreciate you stopping by, and we appreciate you coming to our hunts and competing in our events, Roderick.
Thank you very much. I really enjoy it.
Queens County Beagle Club for the first time at the World Championship this year, Mr. Jay Johnson. Good afternoon, Jay. We're here at the headquarters in Waynesburg at the World Hunt on Saturday afternoon. Thank you for stopping in and talking with me here on the podcast. But, man, you guys have done an awesome job with getting the guys in rabbits this weekend, and thanks for that.
Thank you.
You guys have done an awesome job so far. We hear nothing but good things from the hunters, but tell us a little bit what you guys did to prep for this hunt this year.
Well, Randy Moore was pushing to have the hunt here, and our club, the Waynesburg Beagle Club, we have 40 members, and a lot of the members participated in getting a lot of pass cut in a lot of different places, getting permission, just having a lot of places ready to run.
Yeah.
And we had a great turnout.
Yeah.
We had a lot of help. We had some other clubs that got involved with helping us out. Total of 4 clubs involved altogether.
Yeah, I didn't realize that till I kind of gathered that this weekend being here. You guys did some raffles and everything, and so that's kind of when I realized that. But yeah,
we did some raffles. Brought some money in for all 4 clubs.
Yeah.
We had great participation from everybody.
Yeah, well, you've done a phenomenal job for sure, and we saw some of the guys posting some pictures in the last couple of weeks, getting ready for it and what it's looking like around here. And not just that, and now the hunters come here, and we had great weather for one. That was on our side. But then for the guys to have the phenomenal running they had all weekend so far has just been awesome.
The weather here this summer has been spectacular. We had a little bit of hot weather, but spring came early, so we were able to get a lot of rabbits breeding very early in the spring. And I think that led up to some of the rabbits that were born in the spring being able to breed a couple of times late this summer.
Yeah.
And the rabbit population this year in this area just was phenomenal.
Yeah. See, I was here in the spring for NHBA, had their NHBA hunt here in Waynesburg, or just down the road, I guess, but hunted in this area, the same area here in the spring, and it was good then too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this weekend here at the World Hunt, man, the hunters are they're tickled.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad everything worked out great, and we were able to produce rabbits for all the casts.
Yeah.
We had one cast that came back with 0 points. All the rest of the cast came back with positive points, and you're talking 70 some cast total.
Yeah,
so far?
so far, 57 in round one, 57 cast total, and only one of those didn't have plus points. And since then, 16 more this morning.
Right.
And now this afternoon, we're here on Saturday afternoon. We just sent out the semifinals, 4 casts, and those 4 cast winners will advance to the final cast tomorrow morning. But so far, so good. This morning they said it was the scores weren't quite as good as they were yesterday morning and last night. The scores were phenomenal.
Yeah.
When I say phenomenal, just in the fat part of between 500 and 700.
Right,
a lot of them
right.
like that. So.
Well, I was hoping we'd have a cast come in with 1,000 plus.
Hey, we got close a couple times.
We were close. We had
a
couple 900s in there, and that was good.
Yeah, but it's good to hear when the hunters have such a good time.
I think a lot of the guys like the terrain around here too.
Yeah,
the slow rolling hills. Yeah. Some of it's a little bit steeper, but most of it's manageable for most of the people involved. So.
Yeah. So the other thing that was really good this weekend was the food here. Just the Thursday night dinner and everything, and then the breakfast buffets and lunch buffets has been outstanding.
Huge thanks to Dan Wagner for that. Bringing the students in and preparing all those meals.
Yeah,
that's absolutely great.
That was really good. So I'll just tell you, a lot of the hunters today and even last night already are telling me you got to bring it back here. You got to bring it back here.
That's what everybody's saying.
So we hope the invitation's there. I don't know about next year. I would sure love to, but at least in the near future, if not next year again. But
we've got to throw a big thanks out there to the county commissioners donating the fairgrounds to us.
Mm-hmm.
It gave us a great place to work out of. Mm-hmm. Plenty of room.
There's a lot of good things about this area. We always look at, you got to have hotels.
Yes.
People need places to sleep. Yeah, you've got some campers and a good place here on the fairgrounds too. For camper hookups.
I think it's $25 a night for camper hookups.
Yeah, very affordable. But you have some good hotels right within just minutes of the fairground here. Good byways in this area, and it's just everything's just been spectacular.
You're a mile off of the interstates. So Interstate 79, 1 mile to the fairground. Not even a mile, half a mile to the fairgrounds. So
well, you're the president of the club and leading this whole organization here, and you can see the leadership and the efforts you guys put into it. And we really appreciate it. And we thank you for that.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming. Thank you for having the hunt here.
Yeah.
It's. I think when we told the commissioners that we were going to have the hunt here, they thought, oh, okay, we're going to have some dogs there. They never thought it was going to be as big as what this actually is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were Betsy McClure.
The county commissioner.
Yeah, the county commissioner. She was extremely pleased. She had a good time here.
Yeah.
And she says that, hopefully if we bring it back next year, they can get some sponsorship.
Yeah.
To cover the cost of the meals for everybody.
Oh, how awesome would that be? The hunters would be.
That would be great. And she's talking about getting some other sponsors in to where we could possibly get some nicer prizes to raffle off.
Yeah.
And that would bring in some more money for all the local clubs.
Yeah. We've I've been at the United Kennel Club since 2004, so I've been at quite a few of these world finals, and I don't know I can ever remember a crowd still here on Sunday morning in round 3 as I have today.
Yeah.
And a lot of the hunters stuck around. They're just happy to be here. You know, it's a full elimination. Every round, 3/4 of them get eliminated, but the ones that have stuck around, but that contributes a lot to how much fun they've had here, and appreciate all the efforts here. But
Right.
so, but anyways, I won't take up any much of your time, but
All
really,
right.
really thank you so much. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for coming.
Matt Turner from Ohio has been around the Beagle format since he was a little kid. He leaned on Merle Spicer, one of the oldest field reps that we had in the program. He learned a lot from Merle, and we talked about Merle a little bit in this interview with Matt. Hope you enjoy. Well, it's Saturday afternoon here in Waynesburg, and I'm sitting here with Matt Turner. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Man, we've had a good crowd here this afternoon still for the top 16. We've got 16 dogs left in the hunt. And I don't know if I remember seeing this many people here this late.
Yeah, me either. There was quite a few more trucks here this morning than I thought there would be. Good crowd.
Yeah, so Matt Turner from Ohio, you've been around this business forever, have you not?
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
I know old Swafford talks about you and Merle Spicer, you tagging along with old
Yep.
Merle coming to the hunts a long time. When did you first start?
I started going to the hunts in 1992, and then I didn't handle my own dog in a hunt until February of 93.
Man, you got you're like old Findlay River and the coonhound. He knows all the months from back in the 60s. But
Yeah, I got a pretty good memory.
Do you
That's about
remember?
it.
Do you remember the first hunt you ever hunted in, and what dog that would have been? You remember
The
that?
first hunt I hunted in
Yeah.
myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was February 1993.
Oh, that was the first hunt you hunted in.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just went and spectated with Merle and them
Before that.
before that.
I got you. Yeah. So what dog was that? You remember?
Turner's TNT Jip.
Oh yeah, good one or what?
Yes, she was a good one. Took
Yeah.
second place in the register that day.
Really?
First hunt.
Is that what fired you up?
Yep. Actually, Roy Swafford beat me. He got first.
Yeah. Would you remember where it was at?
Killbuck, Ohio.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, back in those,
About 6 inches of snow.
That's about the same time I started. You know, we talk about going to different clubs, but back then it was nothing for us to drive to Killbuck or Illinois, and
Yeah.
just a regular club hunt.
I've been to all kind of states. I remember Merle drugged me. He didn't tell me, he tricked me. He said, "Can you get out of school Friday?" I said, "I'll ask my mom." She said, "Yeah." And he said, "We're going to a hunt," but he didn't tell me where we was going. We drove all the way to Mississippi to the Mississippi State Hunt,
Yeah.
and that was a long drive.
Yeah, we had a couple of clubs in Arkansas back in the early days too, and a couple of places like that. And those were in guys drove back then. Sure did.
That club we went to was the old fella that run that club was he ended up having the first dual grand champion in the UKC.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And what was his name? Remember his name?
I can't remember his name. I remember the dog's name, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah. What were some of the good dogs that you remember from back then?
Way back then, Merle's old bow dog was a great dog. Daly's Abbey was a great dog.
She was a nice one. I remember her. She was a little different, but just
Brush Buster. I got to run with him at
Missouri.
Nationals.
Yep. Dave
and then-
Henderson.
Dave Henderson. Then there was another great dog from Missouri, Singer, owned by Ronnie McNeely.
Oh yeah.
And that feller from Coldwater, what was it?
Tappenden.
No, not
him?
Not Pat. The crazy
Sexton.
one. Don
Sexton.
Sexton.
Don Sexton.
He could never beat that dog, so he got mad and paid that guy all kind of money for that dog and bought her, and then never turned her loose again. He bred her and had some pups, but
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
there was some nice back then. You would go to a club, whatever club in your state, or if you went to another state, there was like 2 or 3 really good dogs in that club.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew if you drew one of them, you better be ready to go.
Hey, that brings up a good question, and I think I agree with you. There were more back in those days. There were a couple of really better dogs. But when you compare that to today, don't we have more dogs that are better, more better dogs than
Yes,
did
we
back
do.
then?
There's way, and I'm not knocking nobody from back then.
No,
but,
absolutely not.
You know, everybody just started with farm dogs.
Yeah.
Now,
You know, I think Todd Kellum and Todd Morgan talked about that a little bit in one of the first episodes we did with, you know, digging back into the old Beagle program stuff, that everybody just kind of, you know, kind of what they say in racing, race what you brung.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Just rabbit dogs.
Right. They just rabbit dogs. Just you know, everybody just met up on a Saturday when they started these things and run their old rabbit dogs against each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dogs has gotten way better than there's a lot of good dogs
and
now.
there's a lot of, just like this World Hunt, you know, there's a lot of dogs that couldn't win.
Yeah.
That are in contention.
Any one of them 16 there has got a chance, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I ran with them all.
And there's not really just one, just a dominating dog, really.
There's not a dominating dog in that bunch.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously you've been doing this for a long time. You showed dogs, and you judged a lot of shows. But why don't you judge the show this for us on yesterday?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on how the show went and some of the dogs you had in it?
There was actually a lot of them dogs were nice, and a lot of them was especially in them open males and females classes. A lot of them dogs were tight. They was all about this, you know, the same caliber dog. I had to kind of nitpick a little bit to get the winner, but a lot of them dogs was pretty much similar.
Yeah, and then in the grand final, you put up for the male or the female winner was the champion dog out of Missouri, Josh Byers' Aria. I'm not sure how he called it. Aria female.
Yep.
And then Angie Vandergrift's male, that little bit of mayhem, who's done a lot of winning. But those were your top male and top female.
That was my top two.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on those two dogs?
That's a very, very, very nice female. Very nice. Put together really well. And the male is just a big, strong male. Now, with them two, I really had to go and just, in my head, I was pointing out for the breed. You know, the breed standards.
Yeah.
I was given a point for each dog in my head.
Yeah.
You know, going straight up by the breed standards. Yeah. And to get the winner. In the male, he had more muscle.
Yeah, he's
better.
He's muscle up pretty good.
Better feet. A better back end.
Just well-rounded dog.
Yes, well-rounded. He's pretty much flawless, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now that's just my opinion, but in my opinion, he's pretty much flawless.
Yeah, he's obviously hard to beat, and she's been, you know, she's kind of been the class of, or that dog's been the class of the field, you know, in a bunch of shows here in the last couple of years. But man, how you could tell how excited she was to finally win that. She came so close. You know, last year she had the dog in the finals and got beat by the female
littermate,
and it was a littermate, right? And a super nice dog. But yeah, and their mother, you know, won the world show
twice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we had a nice little show here at Waynesburg. The little building we had it in had a good crowd in here too. It was
crowd.
Nice and clean.
That was a good, quite a bit good dogs. I mean, there was a 30-some.
Yeah, 30-some dogs in the show.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah. So let's segue into the hunt a little bit. Whole Shot, you've got him in the top 16 right now.
Yep.
Looking good for you, right? Holding out good?
He looked better today than he did yesterday.
Yeah. How old is he getting to be
He's going on 7. He's going to be 7.
Yeah. Well, hey, we see a lot of times, you know, some of these older dogs kind of, these elimination hunts like this kind of rise to the top, seems like. But, and a bunch of good dogs in the top 16.
Yeah, that's a lot of good dogs. And I've ran with every one of them. Every one of them is nice dogs.
How many times you as a handler have you been in the Final Four of this World Hunt?
As a handler, Final Four, let's see. 1, 2, 3.
Three times.
3 Final
Any
Fours.
of them with your own dogs or handling somebody else's dog?
Well, I handled Mongo. I handled Rip, or not Rip, Booty for Brian Mead.
That's right.
And
That's
then Gina back in 2010. I guess she was half mine, I guess you could say.
right. Yeah.
But
Well, you won it a couple of years ago, several years ago now with Mongo. So 2 years. So you've been there, and what does that feel like as a handler when it comes down to, let's say, the last half hour? How does that? What's that feeling
you start
like?
going through your mind, please don't mess up. Please don't mess up. I went a long time before I even ever got to a finals.
It's just a hard hunt to win.
It
isn't
is. It is. And, some of these new guys that gets in there right off the bat, and I'm happy for them. It's great. I'm glad to see that, really. But, man, it took me a long time to get there. But it is what it is. It's all good.
And then when that clock finally hits, and then you've won it, does it take a while for it to sink in, or what's that?
I'll be honest. 2 years ago when I went with Mongo, I was glad nobody was around because I got kind of teary when I finally caught him, and I didn't want nobody to see that. But
well, hey, that's I think going back to anybody that hunts, like anything, but when there's a world, the sport you're in, and there's a world championship, I think that's what everybody aspires to win someday.
Yes.
And we talk about how hard it is, and when you do, even, grown men aren't supposed to cry, I guess, but
right.
Hey, I've done, a lot of the coonhound world hunts, a bunch of them, and it's the same way there.
Yep.
Even guys that you wouldn't think like that, but when they do, I've seen a lot of them pull dogs off to the side, and
it's emotional.
Yeah.
It is. It truly is.
Yeah. So does when you win something like that, does it kind of take away from your aspirations at all, or is the fire still there, or do you just feel like more of a sense of accomplishment now, and there's not that aspiration? Is there still fire there, I guess?
There's still fire for me, I think. Now with my work schedule, I don't get to go as many hunts as I'd really like to anymore. It's tough for me, but I'm always going to be at the big ones. They're my favorites.
Well, here in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania this weekend, man, we could not have had better weather for the last couple of days. Mid-50s yesterday on Friday. Same thing again today. They had a little bit of rain midday yesterday on Friday. But you cannot beat the weather. And the game we've had so far, in 3 rounds, basically, yesterday was round 1A and 1B, and then this morning, round 2. We've had one cast that didn't have plus points. You can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that.
What are your thoughts on the weekend so far, as far as the hunting around here?
I love it. The weather has been awesome. I like the cool weather. All my casts has had great running, and usually in the years past, that this hunt that something goes weird there, and the running's not always the best usually.
Yeah.
But so far this weekend, man, it's been great.
Can't beat it.
No, we pounded this morning. I mean, pounded the whole 90 minutes almost. And the rabbits, they just wouldn't come across the gravel road so we could, score lines, but they'd come up the edge and go back. And them dogs just kept pounding and pounding and pounding.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I've been here before at NHBA days in the spring. We had good hunting,
Yep.
And the club the guides just have
They
done
have
it.
so many great spots down here. It's crazy.
And they really put a lot of effort
They do.
into prepping their spots, and
They
they were
do.
tickled to have the hunt here, and it shows.
Yep.
And they're getting paid for it as well.
Right.
People are loving it.
I love it.
I'll
be back.
Yeah. So, well, Matt, I'm going to let you go here.
Okay.
You're going to be heading out here in a little bit for round 3 Saturday evening here, so appreciate you stopping in here a little bit. And
you're welcome. Thank you to UKC for all they do, all our sponsors, Waynesburg Beagle Club. It's been awesome so far.
all right. So thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
Izzy Knote was one of 8 or 10 youth handlers that were at the World Championship this year, and she ended up in the top 16 with a dog named Brute. I had a chance to sit down with Izzy and talk to her about Brute and her run at the World Championship this year. Hey, Izzy. Hi. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. We're here in Waynesburg, PA at the World Hunt on Saturday afternoon, and you have got to be excited. You are in the top 16 still.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I honestly didn't think I was gonna make it through. I thought I was just gonna get a spectate, but pretty glad that I made it.
Oh man, what does that feel like? Did you think when you come here? How old are you? First of all, how old
I'm
are
15.
you? 15 years old from Indiana.
Yep.
How does that feel? Do you think about it on the trip out here? Do you think about, man, how cool would it be to get in the top 16 or the final four? Do you think about that?
Yeah, I was thinking which dog I thought was gonna make it, and I thought that I didn't think that I was gonna get through the first round.
Yeah.
But I did, so.
So tell us about the dog that you're hunting. You're hunting somebody else's dog, and how did that happen, and who and what dog is that?
Yeah, I'm hunting Brute, TJ and Corey's dog, because
TJ Baumgartner
Yes.
from there at your local club.
Yeah, and Corey Touche.
Touche, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm hunting him for them because Corey couldn't come and TJ is on vacation.
Out on a beach somewhere on the
Yep,
weekend of
on
the
the
World
beach.
Hunt. I wonder what he's thinking about right now.
I have no idea. He's probably excited that and he didn't have to handle either, so.
Have you been talking to him?
Yeah. Oh, I've been texting him and he's just wondering how, and he was excited that I got Brute through this far. So.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he is pretty excited. And he's probably tickled for you too,
Mhm.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
So what is he an easy dog to call for you? Brute?
No.
Not
well,
really?
Like striking him, yes, but handling, no.
As far as catching him and
Yeah.
things like that?
Doesn't handle that well, but
that TJ needs to work on him a little bit, maybe.
a little bit.
You would have done a little better in the training part of it if it be you, right?
Well, apparently he listens to TJ and just not me.
Just doesn't
Yeah.
listen to you. Well, hey, he's probably not. Have you hunted him before for TJ at all or no?
I haven't hunted him for TJ before, but I've ran against him a lot. So
Yeah.
I knew what his mouth was pretty much. Yeah.
So, you go to a lot of youth hunts. When did you first start with hunting beagles? Do you remember your first hunt?
My first hunt was at I think it was at the Magenic Club. I think at the Lions Club
Yeah.
when it was held there in
Yeah.
Indiana, and I won with Ren, who I usually handle,
Yeah.
and then my mom won with Lucky the same day, and I think that was my first ever.
And when was that here in the last
I think
couple
that
of-
was like 2 years ago.
2
maybe?
years ago? Yeah. What interested you in running beagles?
I played volleyball when that was happening. I don't play anymore, but I just like I love the outdoors, so that was part of it, and I love dogs.
Yeah.
So that
And you like competing?
and my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your mom is who?
Stephanie Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you like competing? Do you like the competition part?
I
of
like
it?
the competition part better than I like just
Pleasure hunting.
Yeah.
Do you? Just so you're
Yeah.
kind of a competitive person.
yeah.
Do you play other sports in school too, or?
No, I'm in FFA though. I'm the treasurer in FFA,
Yeah.
but I quit volleyball, so I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. So, and there's a group of you kids there in your local area there around the Magenica Club.
Mhm.
Did you just meet all of those just because of or from the club, or is
Yeah.
it school, or what?
Yeah.
Just from the club?
Yeah, from JJ Kennels, we met from Joe and Allison, Achilles, and then Jared, Achilles, and Eli,
Yeah.
and Carson, which
yeah,
she handles
Eli.
sometimes.
Yeah, Eli Watson you're
Mhm.
talking about. Yeah. And all of you kids have had a lot of success already, it seems like. A couple of weeks ago, Eli was kind of the big dog for the kids
Yeah.
at the McVeigh hunt.
And then he won the Michigan State hunt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, you guys have been we see on Facebook all the time, you guys are going to trials everywhere. So that's
Mhm.
kind of cool to see. And it looks like you're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Long trip over here to Waynesburg, but this has kind of been your weekend so far.
Yeah.
You are our youth handler award recipient this year at the World Hunt. You are in the top 16.
Yeah.
So here we are on Saturday afternoon. and you're going to meet with your cast here about 3 o'clock with your guide and your judge and everything. We've drawn all the casts.
Yep.
What? Are you nervous?
Not really.
You're not?
I know I've hunted with all the guys in my cast. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little nervous, but I'm more excited just to get out there and see who's the best dog out there.
Yeah. Does this feel any different in this position than it does at a hunt back home, say at the club? Just
I don't
a
think
regular
it's
club?
hit me yet, because not really.
Maybe. Do you ever get nervous when just before you unsnap a dog, or
Yeah.
how do you cope with your nerves? You know, I hear some people say, well, they do this or they do that. Some people will suck peppermints or something to
I
calm
bite
their
the
nerves.
inside of my cheek a lot.
Do you?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So what advice would you give for other young girls that would like to hunt beagles?
Don't be intimidated by all of the other people. You're one of them. You're a handler. I mean, you know what you're doing if you study the rules and know what you're doing, and just go out there and have fun. I mean,
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a lot. You meet a lot of good people and
Mhm.
a lot of good kids trying to do or hunting dogs as well from all over the country.
Yeah.
Really.
and you lose a lot more than you win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all part of
Yep.
it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, you know, a couple of weeks ago we mentioned guys like Eli Watson. You know, it seemed like it was his weekend at the McVeigh hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you won any cast there at the McVeigh hunt or not, but look, here we are at the World Hunt a couple of weeks later, and you're the one that's on the platform
Yeah.
today. How cool
Yeah.
is that?
That is
Well, hey,
pretty special.
congratulations to you,
Thank you.
and good luck tonight in tonight's hunt. And how cool would it be to be in the final four?
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Thank you. Yeah. I don't even know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you go, but I appreciate you talking with us today, and good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll be right back. If you're trying to contact UKC by phone, don't wait on hold. Use the online chat feature on ukcdogs.com. On Saturday evening after round 3, I had an opportunity to sit down with each one of the final 4 handlers after they came back, just right after their semifinal cast, when emotions were still high. And as soon as they came into the headquarters, I took them right over here to interview them and catch some of that excitement and some of those emotions. My first interview here was with Alan Newby, the handler of Stacy's Mountain Outlaw Freck. Here's Alan. Well, here we are again, Alan.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Round 3, Stacy's Mountain Outlaw Freck. You got him in. You won the cast Saturday night here at Waynesburg World Hunt. Tell me about it.
Well, Freck did all the work. He just did his job, and I called the dog like he ought to been called. And when I struck him, and he jumped 3 out of, I think, 5 tracks.
Yeah, I'm
And-
looking at the scorecard here. Looks like, 3 tracks he made good on that you scored on.
Yes, he was split second and third on the first line, and unfortunately, he was one of the dogs that missed a line on another track. But he continued to jump the rabbits, and that helped us when they were produced. And he just did his job. And
Yeah.
he did
Yeah.
a phenomenal job, and Jeff Stacy's done his homework with him.
Yeah, well, I see you actually tied here with Owen D'Agostine and his female Cold Winter Breeze, but you won on the tiebreaker here. But looked like she gave him.
Oh, she gave him a run for money,
Yeah.
and she was a heck of a hound. And toward the end of the hunt, all 4 dogs, you could tell they've been running all weekend, and
Yeah.
3 90-minute rounds on these hounds.
Yeah.
It's put a toll on them. But
Yeah,
every dog in the cast did a nice job. But
Yeah.
but Breeze, she did a phenomenal job also. And I know it's heartbreaking for Owen to lose on a tiebreaker, but it happens. And
yeah. That's then you had you drew out with we mentioned Owen D'Agostine, Cold Winter Breeze, Brandon Offlick with Soul Collector, and then also Carl Miller with that All Day Return of Clyde. I know that dog's been looking good
Oh,
as
yeah.
well, and a lot of guys had him picked to win
Clyde
this all.
does a lot of winning at the big hunts. He's always there. The Eliminator in Tennessee, he was there. He's always in there. He's always at the end. And Brandon and them, and they're always in the top 10. It looks
Yeah.
like. And I mean, he had a he had a hard cast, but
Yeah, looking at these dogs, Soul Collector, he's 6, but Freck is 7, and you know what we always say about world hunts? These aged dogs tend to
they
tend to
get it
shine at
done.
when it counts in these long elimination rounds.
Yep, they get it done. And actually, we were talking about it on the way back in. Frex did a phenomenal job all weekend. He's did great. He's hunted great. But it seemed like to me every round Freck got better and better.
Yeah,
He was really on his game in this last round. He was jumping rabbits. I mean, he was 10 inches from catching one of them when he jumped him. I mean, it was 10 foot away from us. And
yeah.
it was a sight. He
Yeah.
put on a show, and I'm just so proud of him.
Yeah, just another round of running what we've seen here in the first couple rounds here at the
absolutely.
World Hunt. looks like.
Absolutely, one of the best I've ever been. It's good running all weekend.
Yeah, so it looks like who was your guide on this cast?
Randy Moore.
Randy Moore from the
and
club here. Yeah,
We went right above Randy's house, and you could tell Randy and the other guys have done a lot of work, and it was an excellent spot. I've never run this spot up here, but it was rabbits everywhere. It was a good spot.
yeah. So what do you know? What Freck is out of? How he's bred up?
Freck is out of, I believe he's out of a bold stroke female that Mark Overcash had in the house.
I think
If I'm
you're
not
correct.
mistaken,
I think I think you're correct. I'm not
that
positive.
Jeff
but-
and Coy owned.
Mhm.
And Hoss was a phenomenal dog too, and I think he's been in the top. I know he's been in the top 10 at the nationals, and he may have been placed in the top 10 at the world. But
Yeah.
yeah,
so you're down here or over here hunting or up here, I guess, for you.
yeah, up here.
You're up here for you. You're hunting at the dog for Jeff Stacy, who couldn't be here.
Yeah, Jeff is having some health issues, and I was proud to do it for him. When I told Jeff when we talked probably 5 weeks ago that he wasn't going to be able to make it, and I had 4 dogs qualified, and I told him, I said, I'm not sending my 4th dog in so I can run this dog for you, because this dog is doing a great job and he deserves to go to the world. And I'm not sure too many people would have brought him up here. Jeff and his wife Debbie, she's pretty fond of this
They're
dog.
kind of
and-
partial to Freck.
Oh,
aren't
she
you?
Freck is her baby, and it's not many people that they would trust him to. And I mean, I'm honored that he trusted him to me. And I told him, I said, Jeff, I'm gonna do everything I can. If Freck does his part, I promise I'll do mine. We getting it done, and
Yeah.
one more round.
Yeah. So have you talked to Jeff already? Probably on your ride back.
On the way back home, I talked to him.
What did he have to say?
He said, I know you could get it done. He's on his game, and he said, I'm proud of you, and he wants to come up here. He wants to make that 7-hour ride, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't turn him away if he came. But
Well, you know those Stacys, they're stubborn as they can be.
they don't call them outlaws for no reason.
Yeah.
And I love him like a brother. And I've known Jeff since I've started. He and his father, Coy, both of them have been big influences on me throughout my 10, 15 years I've been in it. And I consider him one of my closest friends, and I'm just so proud to do this for him.
Yeah. Well, we're going to look ahead to tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, the final cast. Freck and you are in the final cast. And
Yeah.
have you had time to think about that much on your ride back here to headquarters tonight?
No, not really. It's like I was telling Joey and them I think this morning on the cast, I told Joey, I said, I don't want to think ahead. It is what it is. And out on the cast, you know how guys keep up with scores in the head and this and that. I'm not one that does that. I go by play, call the dog when he does, and just wait till the end and figure the scores, and it worked out. And I don't try that keeping up with it.
Yeah.
It seems to go better with me if I don't.
Yeah, well, the last, I don't know how many world hunts on Sunday morning that you've still been there wherever the hunt was, and you were oftentimes in the gallery. And oftentimes one of the first to congratulate the winners. And, tomorrow it's going to be you out there in the field. And how it's let me ask you this, on the way up here, on the ride up here, do you have any thoughts about what it would be like maybe to be in the finals with Freck this weekend? Did you think it could possibly happen, or is that something you thought about?
I knew Freck was dog enough to do it, and he was on his game the way he's been running for the last few weeks. I knew Freck was capable of doing it, and yes, I thought. I'm serious. I thought about it, and the only thing I could think about is doing it for Jeff.
Yeah,
and that's what it's all about now. I mean, to me, this is not a win for me. It's a win for Freck and Jeff.
yeah. Well, it's happening, Alan. It happened. You're going to be in it.
I hope so. I hope we have good running, and good luck to everybody.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:00, and one more round left to go. And good luck to you and Freck.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Dave Hummel was the second cast winner to come back on Saturday afternoon with Old Dirty South Ace. I grabbed Dave and we sat down and talked about his win. Here's Dave. Well, here we are, Dave Hummel, Saturday afternoon, and you are still in the ball game with Old Dirty South Ace. Tell me all about it.
Been a good hunt, lots of good running, excellent club. They put on a good show, and we're going to take her to the end.
Yeah. So, just a few minutes ago, we were talking about this. You've been in the finals before. Let's back up a little bit with Old Purdy.
Old Purdy, I won it with her in 2011, the first one we had in Tennessee.
Yeah. So, and then you were in the finals again in Missouri.
Yep.
That was with Will.
Well, second with him.
Yeah. So second there, and so a first and a second. But let's talk about your cast a little bit on Saturday night here in Waynesburg. Tell us about it.
Well, it started out, for one, there's a lot of mountains down here. We walked for a long ways before we jumped the first rabbit. But once we jumped the first rabbit, it was on. I mean, we just kept jumping rabbits, sight chasing rabbits, and it ended up being a really good cast.
Yeah.
A close cast.
I'm looking at the scorecard here, and you 3-lined the first one already.
Yep.
Yeah, so you took a first line, a second line, and a last line, I guess, on that first one. But you were in with what dogs were you in here with? Landon Carroll with Tank, and you had Eric Yan out of Michigan with Swamp Masters Trump, and then also Jacob Coons with Cleaning Up Clyde. It looks like Clyde was kind of neck and neck with you there.
Yeah, he was pushing in my back door. He was coming after me.
Yeah, yeah. So. Yeah, it looks just like a good hunt, and again, a decent score, and just kind of a reflection of what's been going on all week long or all weekend here at the World Hunt in Waynesburg.
Yeah, and I never judged a cast this weekend, and the judges I had were upstanding people.
Yeah, yeah, and same with all the guides. Obviously,
the guides did an excellent job.
Yeah. So, what's Old Dirty South Ace? He's a 3-year-old male. And you just acquired him just this year, did you not?
Yeah, we acquired him, me and Mugsy bought him in May of this year.
Vernon Shearer.
Yeah, Vernon Shearer.
Everybody calls him Mugsy.
Yeah, we call him Mugsy.
Yeah.
He wanted to go half on him, so we went half, and we buy him off Bill Cox.
Yeah.
He's already PKC Platinum champion.
Yeah.
So we brought him back to UKC.
What's he out of?
He's out of World Champion Drum. PKC World Champion Drum, and a female that Mugsy raised.
Oh, yeah. So what's Mugsy thinking about all this?
He's excited.
Is he?
He's excited.
Has Mugsy had a dog in the finals of any World Hunt?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Yeah, so 3 years old. He's young. So far, we've got 2 dogs that came back here. We're here Saturday afternoon. It's about 6:30 in the afternoon. And you were the second cast back here, so we know one of them that's going to be in Alan Newby with Jeff Stacy's Freck dog, and he's got double the age. He's a 7-year-old already, So we'll see. Right now, Ace is one of the younger dogs that was in the top 16 here in round 3.
Yep, and we've got him in shape. He's ready for it.
Yeah. So let me ask you that. Speaking of that, what do you do to prepare for a hunt like this? You it obviously probably depends on the dog a little bit, but what did you do to prep Ace?
Well, when we got him, he had been run hard. So I put some weight on him, and I basically solo embrace.
Yeah.
That's all I do with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, do you still get nerves? Has it hit you yet? Or?
No. Like I told these guys on the way back from the cast, I said, it's just another cast.
Yeah.
Don't get excited.
Yeah. Well, I remember well the last one you were in Missouri. I remember you, Dave McVeigh, and I think it was Joe Brown, the three
Yep.
dog cast there, you know, with old Will there. But
Yep.
yeah, so that's been a little while. These don't come easy and don't just happen
No.
year after year for sure. You know,
I didn't get to run the world last year.
Yeah.
It was the first time I haven't ran the world since 2005.
Yeah.
I still got my hat on
yeah,
from the first world.
yeah. So, well, Dave, congratulations to
Thank
you,
you.
and we'll see you tomorrow morning in the final cast of the World Hunt.
All right. Thanks very much.
Vernon Shearer, or otherwise known as Mugsy, is the co-owner of Dirty South Ace. I also had an opportunity to sit down and ask him talk dogs and talk about Ace a little bit. Here's Vernon. Well, here I am with Vernon Shearer. Everybody calls you Mugsy. Mugsy, your buddy Dave Hummel just got old Ace into the final cast of the World Hunt. What are your thoughts? Have you thought about it?
Yes, I have.
What do you think about it?
I think it's fantastic for all of us.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
just want to thank him for getting him there.
yeah, yeah. So you guys just bought the dog here just earlier this year, and man, what a year you've had already.
Yeah,
huh?
been a very, very good one.
Yeah. Are you getting to hunt the dog any, or is Dave hunting most of it?
Dave hunts it all. He's been taking care of it. So
Sending you the feed
so,
bill, huh?
yes, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, did you, on the way up here, did you think about maybe you got a good shot at this or be where you are, or what were you thinking coming here?
Yeah, we all three talked about it
Yeah.
on the way here, and we did say that we're coming here to win it.
Yeah. Well, hey, you're
Yeah.
one step away from that, right?
One step away.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I talked to Dave a little while ago, and he's been in this position before, so I think you probably got a good, solid handler on him.
Oh yeah, he's been a rock for me.
Yeah, yeah. So final cast tomorrow morning. I suppose you're probably going to go out and what do you think you can control your nerves tomorrow?
Well, not real good.
Yeah. Have you had a
No.
dog in the finals of a world hunt before?
No, never.
Never have.
Never have.
How long have you been hunting beagles?
No. 50 years.
50 years. Yeah. You know, where was it? Maybe a year ago, I think I was at the McVeigh hunt, and I drew out with you, and you rode with me to maybe down to Frank Miller's place where we hunted, and we're going along the highway there, and you were telling me where the school you went to, and you were telling me about all the trapping you did before you went to school. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did
So-
it on a bicycle.
yeah, so those were the good old days, huh?
It sure was.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of good stories. I remember a lot of that conversation we had on the way there and back.
Well,
And we had a good little hunt too.
had a
so.
good time.
Yeah. So, well, I hear your phone's ringing. Your buddies are calling you. So congratulations and good luck tomorrow, Mugsy.
All right, thank you.
Mitch Gould was the third cast winner to come back on Saturday evening, and his daughter Aubrey was with him, and she was very excited. Aubrey was very excited, and she had met one of her little friends from Iowa that she met here, and she asked her dad if her friend could come in and sit in on this interview. So here's Mitch, Aubrey, and Bristol Neff. Well, here we are Saturday evening. I'm here with another finalist, Mitch Gould with Heat 'em Up CL Tika. Mitch Gould, tell me all about your cast tonight. You came back a winner, but tell
Yes,
me
sir.
what happened here.
Well, I tell you, man, we pounded rabbits, and but we just we had kickers, and right up, first couple rabbits, dog was operating like I like her to operate, but I was taking some third strikes, and we got a big running rabbit. We seen 3 kickers; they wasn't even running, and I want to say it was over 30 minutes we ran this rabbit, and we could not get it lined, and
Just couldn't see it? or what?
we were seeing rabbits, but not that rabbit.
Not that rabbit.
It was crazy.
One of those.
Yes, sir. And so that track finally ended. And as a footnote, I fell and hurt my shoulder. And Trevor McQueen, when he hears this, will know he got a master's in rehabilitation now
Yeah.
for my shoulder. But
Yeah.
So yeah, we that track ended, and our guide Brian and Barry were our guides, and they said, "Hey, we got a spot. I think we can get one more rabbit." I want to say we had 10 minutes left, and at that point, she was down. We just had strikes, and go over to the new spot, walk down the path. He says, "I know there's rabbit right here somewhere," and I seen Tika. She'll stand up on her back legs and wind.
Yeah.
And I thought, she knows there's rabbit over there. So we turned loose, and you could see the dogs were working, and she just dove over the hill. And I seen her going, probably 25 yards in the brush right there, just bang, first strike. Rabbit went out, turned, come back. We're standing there, and we just happened to see it right out of the corner of our eye, just almost missed the rabbit. She come up, scored first line. Jasper was second, and the only difference in the cast was on that 30-minute marathon rabbit we had, Tika got a check.
Yeah.
And that ended up, that line and that check and that jumped rabbit there at the end was the difference. It was a good cast. Dogs ran awesome together.
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah, well, I see you won the cast by 30 points. You mentioned Jasper. That was Carl Miller's dog out of New York. Chris Rogan was handling that dog. Carl had another dog in the semifinals.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, but it looks like it just kind of pulled it off there at the end, like you said, with that last first strike and first line on it. Then you also had Vicky Bassett was in the cast with her fidget female, and then also April Beam, 2 ladies in the cast with lightning legs there. But yeah, so tell me a little bit about Tika. How is she bred?
Tika came from a good friend of mine when she was a year old. Jeremy Woodling lives just actually north of here a little bit. I seen her as a puppy, and he let us purchase her when she was 1, and we got her and been running her ever since. And she's out of a female that he raised called Big Meadows Birdie, who won the ARHA World Hunt, and a Logan Elm Butcher. That's who she's out of.
Yeah,
I would love to be able to take credit for her. I love her to death. But I did not breed that dog. Jeremy Woodling deserves the credit for the breeding on Tika.
Yeah, and you co-own this dog with Josh Ware, I see on record.
Yeah, but we all know Aubrey's the real owner.
Oh, yeah, Aubrey. So, but hey, before Aubrey's sitting here with us too, and I want to talk to Aubrey a little bit, but here in a bit. But so Heat 'em Up in the name, obviously, which we all know Heat 'em Up Kennels has been a name you've had forever. Then CL Tika, what does the CL stand for?
That's Country Lane. That's
Country Lane.
Jeremy Woodling, who I bought.
Gotcha.
He's a great guy, good friend,
Yeah.
excellent houndsman.
Yeah.
That's his kennel name.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have something on the papers when I registered her with UKC.
Yeah.
To pay respect to that.
Yeah. So a 3-year-old dog here, and you've done quite a bit of winning with this dog already this year.
This was her first year in field trials. We held her out. I really don't like to run young dogs much anymore in field trials. So her first hunt was the Eliminator. She took, I believe, 6th, top 10 there. Her next hunt was NHBA days, where we were lucky enough to pull out the overall win at NHBA days. She was semifinals at nationals, and then we ran her in one other hunt. Aubrey ran her at the state hunt one round. She won a cast at the state hunt, the West Virginia state hunt.
Yeah.
That's the hunt she's been in this year. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to switch over here to Aubrey, this pretty young girl sitting here next to us here. Aubrey, yesterday you showed Tika in the bench show, did you not?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and you won with Tika, didn't you, in the show?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Did you have fun showing her?
I had fun showing her, but it was like a little bit nervous with everybody. I could feel her shaking, and I petted her down, and then she calmed down, and then we got to the best of the show female.
Yeah, that was an awesome win for you and Tika, but I was watching you when we had called the other dogs up in the class, and Tika was jumping all over you, and she was smelling into your jacket. And what was in your jacket that she was smelling?
It was like a dog treat, but it was shaped like a bacon. It was like a bacon piece. I don't know what it was.
It was a bacon piece, I know, and so I came over and I asked if I should take that piece of bacon away so she would cooperate a little more for you. So she liked that treat. Is that something that you give her a lot when she does when you practice with her?
No, we give her another kind. It's called Snaps. That one helps like clean her teeth and gives her better breath. But that one I found right under that cover. She was sniffing under, and I was like, "What are you sniffing?" And then I took it. I was like, "Hiding that from her." And then now she's like, "Whoa."
Yeah. So, what do you think of Tika? Are you surprised that Dad got her in the final cast of the World Hunt? What are your thoughts on that? What do you think about that?
I honestly thought, I thought she was at least going to get second or third. But mostly, I would feel like she would got first, second, third. But still, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty pumped for her.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. She's been good so far, and tomorrow's the last cast. But so you also did you meet any new people here this weekend at the World Hunt? Any new friends or anything?
I met this one girl. Her name is Bristol. We became pretty good friends.
And this was the first time you met Bristol?
Yeah, the first time I met her at Thursday at the diner.
Yeah, do you know where she's from?
Missouri.
Yeah, she's from Missouri, and she actually came in here with you, and she's sitting right here next to us. And Bristol, what do you think about your new friend's big win here with Tika?
I'm really proud of her.
Well, that's good. Did you guys get to play, and did you get to know Aubrey this weekend?
Yep.
Yeah, what did you guys do?
We actually went chasing around the groundhogs trying to find them.
Oh, did you? So you had a lot of good fun. Isn't it fun to come to these events and meet other new people?
Yeah.
Are you you and Aubrey about the same age?
Yep.
All right. So let's go back, Aubrey, let's go back to your dad again. Mitch, you've won a lot of hunts over the years. You've been doing this for how long? When did you first get into Beagles?
1997, I think.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
You've been running probably one of the guys that you would probably contribute to a lot of your early days was probably old Prunty, Dale Prunty.
Absolutely. Yep. Rest in peace. Yep.
Yeah, but you had Prunty. You actually handled a dog for Prunty at one time, did you not, or a couple maybe?
Yeah, a bunch.
A bunch.
Yeah, I was a coon club kid,
Yeah.
and I loved to coon hunt. And I met Dale through common friends, because Dale also was a coon hunter at one time. And we had a lot of rabbits on my dad's farm. And so I was a common friend, said, "Hey, we got this guy wants to come run some rabbits." So we just hit it off, and he seen the farm, all the rabbits on my dad's farm. He said, "Boy, you need a beagle." I didn't have a driver's license yet, but he knew I could run that dog on that farm, you know. And so he took care of me. I mean, he one of the first dogs I ran for him was called, oddly enough, her name was Ricky, who was in the first World Hunt final, White River Miss Ricky.
Yeah.
And I conditioned her a lot for Dale and ran her a lot. And White River Big Jake, who's kind of the foundation of our kennel 20 years ago when we started Heat 'em Up Kennels. And just to be blunt, Dale gave me that dog, and Jake won a lot and produced a lot. But Dale was a big mentor in my life for sure.
Yeah, so your first time handling a dog in the final cast of the World Hunt, as I understand it, have you had much time to think about that yet?
Not really. I love dogs. I'll handle a dog when we need me to, but it's not something I like it, but it's not something I'm like, oh boy, I just can't wait to go handle a dog. I like to sit back and with the spectators, and they were up on that hill watching our cast. They were having a lot more fun than walking up and down that steep bank than we were. But we're just feel very blessed and gracious. It's just been a fun weekend.
Yeah, well, it's been a good weekend here in Waynesburg. They've had the guides have been able to put all the hunters on game in most every round, and we're now down to got round 3 done, and every cask has come back with plus points except for one, and man, you can't beat that. They've
That's
done
unbelievable.
Phenomenal job this weekend, and the weather's been awesome, but What one final question here for you is what do you feel are Tika's strongest suits?
Number one, she's extremely talented at controlling a pack of dogs. So in bigger running, especially, she can lock on and drag dogs.
Yeah,
It really is. As much as I've ever seen a female be able to do that, because she's not a real big dog, but she has a tremendous amount of athleticism, and she can really roll in the right circumstance.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would say that's her best trait. She hunts hard. She's not a real rangy hunter like some of our breeding.
mm-hmm.
But she'll dig, she'll grub one out. But all around, on a smell found, can get, she likes to bang. I mean, she's a banger.
Yeah.
And so if I had to say, a fault, she can get up and get on the outside once in a while.
Yeah.
But when she gets it, she can hold on to it.
Yeah. Well, Mitch, congratulations and good luck in the finals on tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it, buddy.
Aubrey, good luck to you too.
Thank you.
Blake Barkman was the fourth cast to come back from on Saturday night. And as it turned out, Heat 'em Up Foxy Roxy was the winner of that cast. And I had an opportunity to sit down with Blake and talk about his cast win and his thoughts for Sunday morning's cast. Here's Blake. Well, folks, here I am Saturday evening after round 3. All the casts are back in. And I am here with Blake Barkman from Albion, Indiana, with Heat 'em Up Foxy Roxy, who was a cast winner in cast number 3 in the semifinals, and she's moving on to the final cast on Sunday morning of the World Hunt. Blake, how do you feel about that?
Just nervous and hope for the best tomorrow. Hope I don't make a mistake.
Yeah. Well, first of all, before we talk about tomorrow, how did your cast go tonight? Tell us a little bit about your cast. Did you have good running?
Yeah, we had pretty good running. She kind of was getting last strikes, and at the end she started picking it up and looked a lot better. Than had a couple lines, and running was pretty good. Best I've had this weekend.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, the other dogs you had in the cast, you had Adam Banks with the Lula dog, and then Izzy Knote, our youth highest placing youth this weekend with Thomas Baumgartner's Brute dog was in the cast, and then also Matt Turner with Hole Shot, and but you pulled it off with Foxy Roxy at the end. You scored 330 plus, and did you feel? How did you feel going into this cast against these other dogs? You feel pretty confident?
I was just nervous because semifinals she hurt her eye a little bit, and she didn't really act like she was gonna go out, but they jumped the rabbit, and then she was go, and I'll go after that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's 3 rounds now that she has came out on top. But what is she out of? And I guess you just bought her here in the last year or so, right?
Yeah, I bought her last July.
Okay, and who'd you get her from?
Derek Bowen.
Derek Bowen from West Virginia. Yeah. How is she bred?
She's out of D'Augustine, Sir Mongo on the top, and then Heat 'em Up Hailstorm on the bottom.
Oh yeah, so she's bred up pretty good. A couple of winners, top and bottom. Those dogs have done a lot of winning. So yeah. What is it that you like about this dog? Is she one of the better ones that you've had?
Yeah, she's probably the best dog I've owned. She's smart with her mouth. Don't get minus very much, and she's got some decent foot. She can keep up with some dogs, but she's just smart. Just a smart dog in general.
Yeah, yeah. What I know at one of your biggest wins with her was probably the Hunting Beagle Nationals this past spring. You won the registered division with her. I know you were pretty excited about that win, right?
Yeah, that was pretty. Man, the biggest win is pretty. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to hunt her. She came in heat right before and came out right before, so we kind of played it year by year.
Yeah, so have you been hunting her a lot, or what did you do to prepare her for the World Hunt? Run a lot, or how? What does it take to get her in shape for a hunt or ready for a hunt?
Well, I usually run her pretty hard, but she was only ran for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks before this hunt. I mean, not as hard as they usually do, but usually run her every night. But she was put up for about a month and then started running pretty decent and ran for 2 weeks before this.
Yeah, like how often? Every day or several times a week or what?
Usually every night if I can.
Yeah.
And we don't work. Sometimes I go out, run her real hard.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the hunting that you've had here? You're from Indiana, where it's flat and it's a little rolling here. She's probably taking the hills a little better than you're. Kind of a big boy here.
Yeah, I mean, and every place I've been, they've been running up these hills, and I call them mountains, but I'm exhausted every time I go out.
But how's the hunting been though for you? You like the hunting here?
Yeah, they've been put in good spots, but some of the, like this morning, we kind of had a struggle to get one going, but I mean, dogs are dogs. I mean, we were putting rabbits. You can't complain about that.
Yeah. Everybody's been pretty, as far as overall, it's just been really good here. The weather's been super good, but so I saw when you brought Roxy, is that what you call her, Roxy, I guess?
Yeah.
I saw when you brought her in, she looks tired. How do you think? Do you think she's going to be fine and holding up okay for tomorrow, you think?
Yeah, she should be. The eye's really bothering her. I don't know. She poked it pretty bad, so I don't know. See about tomorrow if it's even okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's probably a long ways from her heart, and she's just a smaller female. But yeah, so you've never been in this position as far as the final cast of the World Hunt. Did you come in here? Did you feel pretty confident about your chances, or what? Did you think you'd be in this position?
No, to be honest, no, I don't. I didn't think I was gonna be here. And dog did what she had to do, and made less mistakes Friday and Saturday. Kind of got lucky about some of the situations, but
yeah. So the final cast is made up of 3 3-year-olds, and oftentimes when we get to this final cast, we see some of the older dogs prevail. And we talked a little bit about that this weekend with some of the other guys already. But you know what? This year we've got 3 3-year-olds. 2 females are both 3, and then that's the Tika dog, Mitch Gould's, is 3, and then Dave Hummel's ace dog, he's 3 as well. And then Alan Newby is the other male in the cast tomorrow, Outlaw Freck, but he's a 7-year-old, and probably he's been in the World Finals before in the final cast. But what do you think your chances are? How do you like your chances against these other 3 hounds?
I ran with one dog in here, and I know how she is.
And
She's
which one was that?
Tika.
Yeah.
She's a tough female, and I haven't ran with the other 2, so see what tomorrow comes. I know what Tika is, and she's a tough dog, so it's.
Do you think the age like of Freck, do you think that's going to be to his advantage or not really? You feel yours is pretty seasoned?
I mean, more experience, she has more. That dog has more experience. We'll just see.
Yeah.
How it comes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Every dog might make a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey Blake, congratulations to you. And do you have you thought a whole lot about it? Your ride back to the fairgrounds tonight? Have you thought a whole lot about it? How tomorrow might be, or anything? Or have you called home? Called your buddies? What?
Yeah, I let a couple of buddies know, and they said bring it back to Indiana tomorrow. But I mean, it kind of hits me, but it's. Just trying to keep it all in, not trying to think about it. Just another cast.
But you think you'll sleep all right tonight?
I don't know. I'll see when I get back to the hotel.
Yeah. Well, one thing is probably important is make sure you get Roxy, get her fed up tonight, and let her get some sleep, rested up for tomorrow morning. But Blake, congratulations, man, and good luck to you tomorrow on the final cast of the World Hunt.
Thanks a lot, and I'll try.
My final interview at the World Championship this year was on Sunday about noon after the conclusion of the final cast, after Mitch Gould won it with Heat 'em Up CL Tika. And here's my interview with the 2022 World Champion Mitch Gould, talking about his win. Enjoy. Well, Mitch Gould, here we are on Sunday, almost noon. The final cast is over, and you've won it. You've won it. You and Tika have won the World Hunt. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, just surreal, you know. Been a long journey. Come close before many times. Somebody said, what's the closest you guys have gotten, you know, as a kennel? And well, take your pick, 2 through 10, you know, and just hadn't really set in yet, to be honest with you. And to have her with me has just been.
Your daughter Aubrey is here with us again, and yeah, you could tell she was happy as well. But let's start with this morning, man. We get up this morning, and it was frosty this morning here in Waynesburg.
It really was. It was cold. I walked out to the truck. I couldn't believe how thick the frost was. I didn't think it's supposed to get quite that cold.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was chilly.
Yeah. We held off a little bit to get out there, and actually, I expect I counted the trucks. We had 19 trucks go out this morning. So
Wow.
We have spectators, you know, and they had a great. You saw it up there. Had a great elevated hill for everybody to stand on, in a good spot. Now you started away from us a little bit. We'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, you know, it was talk about the hunt this morning. How it went, how it unfolded in the summer.
Sure. Yeah, we so we get out there to rent one of Randy Workman's spots, and hey, real quick, just hats off to him. I mean, most of you know that are probably hearing this. The man spent 70+ hours on a tractor, and the paths in this spot were manicured. I mean, it was ready for the finals. So really, a big thanks to Randy for that. And so, anyways, Randy guided us, and unfortunately, shady side of the hill. So. You know, that frost was extra thick over there, and we're all like, man, this is gonna be tough, you know. And not that I kind of knew the dogs in the finals other than ours. And I knew none of them are what I would call mouthy dogs either, you know. So, but even a tight mouth dog can have a hard time in that frost, as you know. So we got started there, and right off the bat we got a rabbit. I believe Tika was second struck. We all kind of think it went down, but couldn't find a hole. You know, very thick.
That's what the judges were telling me when they came back. Eric said, man, he would have thought, and they looked and looked and looked and could not find anything there.
Yes, and I'll tell you, Jacob and Trevor and Eric, I mean, them guys went in the brush.
Yeah, the three judges we had signed
yes,
here.
sir.
Yeah.
They're cut to death. They really did an awesome job today, and they looked and looked for a hole, couldn't find one, so we minused on that track. Then we turned loose again. And I believe that's 3 dogs struck, and they ended up minusing on that track. Tika barked one time. I didn't strike her. And Eric said handle dogs, so it wasn't 10 seconds after he said handle dogs, way up the hill there, Tika jumped a rabbit. And you know, me and Newby and Hummel were laughing. We were the 300-pound club out there.
Yeah.
We didn't like that hill, you know what I mean? And I looked back at Hummel, and he looked at me and said, you just want to split on this track? He said, absolutely. And before he could even get it out, Newby said, split them.
Yeah.
And then Blake agreed to split, so we split. And they took that track back and circled it. And on the way back, we heard Eric and Trevor had a line. And Tika got it by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Got a line by herself. And up to that point, you know, they lost it there shortly after.
What were you thinking at that point? Knowing that you're the only dog here to score the first line in the World Hunt and the only dog to score, that had to be.
I tell you what I was thinking, Alan. I was thinking it's going to be a long iron 3 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
Because I knew that place had a ton of rabbits. It's never over when you're in a place like that. You know you're going to get more score. Dogs got to keep operating, keep performing.
Yep.
And so, you know, I knew that.
It's a good position to be in,
yes, sir.
Nevertheless.
Yes, sir. And so, you know, after that, we went on up the hill a little farther, turned loose. Of course, the dogs went the opposite way that the guide wanted us to go, of course. You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
And we seen Tika and Roxy working this blackberry thicket. Well, I mean, we did take another minus track before that Tika wasn't struck on, I believe. So they took another 50 before we even got up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully I'm getting all this in order, you know. But Tika and Roxy were together, and Roxy struck first. Tika struck second. They drove that thing into the woods. Never could see it. Ran it for a long time. And we had a line called. I think Jacob said they missed it or it was a different rabbit. I can't remember. Never did score it, but they produced it. So, you know, we plus the strikes. Ran it for a long time. Again, in the process of catching dogs, I believe it was Hummel's dog fires out of there with a rabbit.
Yep. We were all standing up there on the hill, and they're thinking, "Oh man, it's sounding
and
good.
It's thick
dude.
in there too."
Yeah.
And again, the 300-pound club, we look at each other like, "Man, I hope Blake will agree to split because we don't want to go down in there. Steep country and thick." And at first, Blake's like, "I don't want to split," because he was behind, which can't blame the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, no problem. But we all three hung our head like, "Oh, we're going down in there." Well, about that time, you could hear all four of them just jam down over the bank, pounding. And Blake goes, "Okay, I agree to split." And we were like, "Thank goodness," And so we split on that. I think we got a check. I think Hummel's dog got a check. But that's all we did, on that track. They hunted out the rest of the event. I might have left out a minus track in there. But basically, Tika, when she opens, it's a jumped rabbit. She doesn't bark on feeder scent or anything. I did, she throw one bark on that frost. Obviously, I didn't strike her, but that was a big difference. Getting the line by herself was a big difference.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was a tougher morning, and a lot of it had to do because of that frost this morning, and we could have maybe held off. And hindsight's always 20/20. I expected you to turn loose maybe closer to 8:30, and figured, hey, the first part of it might be a little frosty still here, and really by 9:00. I was kind of watching the clock a little bit. It would have been pretty good, but then by then you already had 3/4 of your hunt in, I guess. But
and being on the shady side of the hill, we was looking across the valley. It was sunny over there.
Yeah.
But I tell you, once they got them rabbits into the problem was the woods. It was like a brushy wood with no paths.
Yeah.
So, they could pound in there, but you can't see in there. And it was a pounding race. four good dogs. Just pounded in there.
Yeah, well, nevertheless, Tika came out on top. So they're in the last half hour. What went through your head there, and how was that last half hour for you as a handler?
Well, again, it's a long.
Or hasn't it soaked in at all yet? Or what were you thinking?
I just kept thinking
long half hour,
and I kept watching. Try not to look at my watch too many times because you think, well, it had to be 10 minutes went by. You look at your watch,
when it was
2
only
minutes
2
went
minutes.
by. Yeah. And, I just kept thinking, keep doing your thing, girl. Because you know how it goes. When you're in plenty of rabbits and, I don't care if you are up 200, it can change on a dime. And I just kept trying to stay focused and not make a mistake. I kept telling myself, if she loses it, she's going to lose it. I don't want to make a mistake to lose it for her, And so that was kind of where my mind was. And try not to think too much ahead, thinking how happy Aubrey was going to be. And
well, there was a crowd of people standing up there on the hill, and Aubrey, you were up there with your friend Bristol that we talked to last night here on the podcast. And what were you thinking? Did you know that Tika was leading for most of the hunt?
Well, yeah. Cody Rucker was we could hear him all saying stuff. And Cody Rucker said, "I think Tika's in the lead." And I was like, "All right." And then I heard Tika barking, and then I heard Foxy Roxy, and then I thought she would come out in second or third, but here she is now, front. She won the whole thing.
Yeah, she sure did. Were you excited when you found out for sure that she won the hunt?
Yeah.
What did when your dad came up there on the hill to everybody? What did you tell your dad when you came up?
I just took a pause. I was like, I asked someone "Hey, did you win?" And he was like, "Nope." And then I looked at Dad and I was like, "Did we win?" He's like, "We did it."
You did it. Wasn't that a fun weekend to be here with your dad and Tika? You won with Tika in the World Show on Friday. You won Best Female Show, and then her dad takes her in the hunt, and he wins the hunt with her. That's got to be such a good feeling and good memories. One of the best weekends with your dad right here in Waynesburg, don't you think?
Yep.
Yeah, so there after the hunt time ran out, it was a great spot for the spectators to stand and watch, off the side of that hill. So we got to see some of that the last 45 minutes or so. But yeah, like you said, they were running in the woods a lot of that time, where you couldn't see. But gosh, what?
Maybe the best place I've ever seen for a final cast.
Right.
I mean,
and
I hope like there's some pictures to show people. I mean, that was like you're saying, it was almost like they were in bleachers.
yeah,
up there.
and I have seen pictures. Randy took some overhead shots, of where we were going to go. I guess he got in a helicopter with his
Yeah, he
boss
did.
and took air shots, of the place. And you look at it and it looks really good, but pictures just don't really do it justice. It was just a beautiful morning out there, and to listen to the dogs and what a hunt. But yeah. What are your thoughts now after it's just all over and done? What does this mean to you? And
Well, as a houndsman, it means so much, and to have her here with me, is pretty special.
yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, yep. Yeah, it had to be exciting for you. I could tell when your dad came up there, Aubrey, and when you were down there with Tika and stuff. I could tell you were one happy girl, and you were proud of Tika, were you not?
Yep.
Yeah. So is she gonna be your new favorite dog from now on?
She'll always be my favorite dog.
There you go. Well, Mitch, I know you've got a little trip back home to West Virginia, but so. Congratulations again, and I'll just give you the mic here for any final thoughts you might have.
Just thanks to UKC and you, Alan, organized as could be. I mean, the way you guys put on a Big 5 event is second to none in any format. I'll put it up against any format there is. Just awesome job on UKC's part, and anybody hearing this that's never ran at the Waynesburg Beagle Club, I mean, what a club. What a club. I mean, I said in there a little bit ago, it's the best world hunt, not just because we were fortunate enough to win it, but it was the best world hunt I've ever been to. Organized rabbits. I mean, I think they had running in every cast but one out of 70-some casts, 80, I don't know. So just a big thanks to the Waynesburg Beagle Club, UKC, the good Lord for blessing us to be out here, and we prayed for safety and every cast, didn't we? Never prayed to win. We prayed for safety, didn't we, honey? And yeah, just really grateful. Thank you, Alan.
So as far as matchups and results of the whole World Championship, you can find those on our Beagle forums, message forums. All the casts are noted on there, the results of it, the scores of every round. And then you can find pictures of all the winners on UKC Smug Mug. And there's links on the Beagle forum as well as on Beagles Afield on our Facebook page for all the matchups and results of this year's World Championship. Thanks for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and to like and follow UKC Hunting Ops on Facebook and Instagram.